welcome back to the video. This morning the sun is shining and I'm back on my bicycle. Much to my relief. Feels good to spin the legs. I'm actually riding down from Vancouver in Washington, where I'm staying, just over the river, which actually takes me into a different state. Okay, cool. That's definitely illegal, surely. I've actually now been here for a few days, so I've had a little bit of time to explore. I only went into Portland for a little bit yesterday, so I'm looking forward to having a proper look around. But in the days that have passed, I went to a crit a few days ago called the Bone Machine crit, and now it was a fixed gear crit, and weirdly enough, Kim Nonstop from LA had travelled up the coast to race. So it was really fun to spend some time with her. I actually helped her out film a video, which will be on her channel, I'm sure, by the time I put this up, so I'll link it below.
On Saturday night, watch the city lights fade into the sky. Distant sounds of a colorful light, sitting in silence on the other side. Hello.
Going off my own heart. I haven't spent much time at fixed gear races in the past, so it was good fun to spend some time at a fixed race. We had good weather and Kim's teammates did really well as well. Her teammate actually won the race and Kim came fourth.
Have someone like you on Saturday night. Please sing along to the same sad song that we used to play on your broken phone. Please sing along to the same sad song.
So that was the bridge that takes you from Washington into Oregon. It's quite cool that you can cross a border like that. So I'm on my way to downtown Portland to meet up with a guy called Jason, who's hit me up, and I'm hoping he's going to show me the places to see. He's also been watching the journey since we started in San Diego, so looking forward to meeting him. So that's what coffee looks like before it's roasted. Shit. And then it gets bigger.
Yeah, it does. That's a good observation. Yeah, it almost doubles in size.
How long is it in the roaster?
Usually between like 11 and a half and 13 and a half minutes.
Had a bit of a coffee lesson from the Cup and Bar Cafe. You sell the trailhead beans, I think they're called. I wish I liked coffee. It's really interesting. Hey, Jason. I'm told this is the place to come.
This is one of the places. This is probably the most famous. And this is Vodoo Donut 2.
It's uncomfortably pink. There we go. The Portland famous. So Jason is a local to Portland, as you can see by his kit, and he's been kind enough to take an afternoon, well, half an afternoon off to show me around town.
And my pleasure.
It's only reasonable to visit the famous place here. I've heard some people say that this isn't the place to go to. It's so sticky. Let's see what this is all about. I went for the simple raspberry ripple or whatever they call it here. Oh man. Oh man, that's good. That's better than Sainsbury's. Oh yeah. So whilst me and Jason are here at Vodoo Donuts, I thought it'd be interesting for him to ask me a few questions to kind of round up where we are at this point of the trip, and maybe ask some questions that you would like to ask but don't have the capacity to do so. Firstly, how's your donut?
It was fabulous. I actually think that it was better than the last time I had a Vodoo donut. So
Yeah. Out of
maybe
10?
Out of 10, 8.
Oh, so question number 1.
So I've been following you and Francis for a long time and watching your vlogs, and you guys ride a lot. So how would you feel your kind of camaraderie or your friendship has changed over the course of the trip?
When you're thrown into situations like we were, Death Valley, you know, these kind of almost life-changing points where, you know, for moments you kind of thought, are we going to get out of this?
Yeah.
You know, it has to. It brings you closer. It definitely brings you closer, and I feel like we lent on each other a huge amount, and it brought us together big time. And I think coming out of this trip, we'll be much better friends because of it.
Another thing that I think maybe I had a question about was if you would change anything as far as route, your planning, equipment that you brought, that type of thing.
That's a good one. I like that. Sorry, before I answer this question, my lenses are polarized, so every time I try and it means I can't see the screen.
Yes.
Right. So I
Yeah.
have to. It's a nightmare. I think the three of us would have different answers to that. Ideally, I would have had means to have transported my own laptop so that Francis didn't have to carry my one. That would have been great.
Right.
No, the route was amazing. Maybe to go further up the coast. We've been told that Portland is, you know, it's great, but you need to keep going north. So maybe next time.
So it's awesome seeing your vlogs and seeing, you know, your racing and the training that you do in London and in Calpe. But this trip the content has been just extraordinary. It's been beautiful, it's been moving. So do you think you're going to do maybe some more of these kind of epic trips?
We've been very lucky in the sense that so many people have enjoyed these trips, and it's kind of made us feel like, hey, wait a minute, how about if we do this more seriously and we say, you know, maybe not full time because we have other things going on, like I don't want to quit racing to do this quite yet. I mean, this is definitely not the last one. I think Francis and James would back me when we said that this is just the beginning, 100%. This is really opened our eyes as to what's possible. What's been interesting as well for a lot of people to see is we are not cycling tourists. We are not that kind of cyclist. I'm a racer. For a bunch of roadies to suddenly be doing touring, I think a lot of people have kind of related to that fish out of water kind of.
And finally, last question, Lawrence. What's next on the channel? What are we going to see for the rest of the year? More racing? More training videos? Any other trips planned?
Yeah, so next I think I've got some big races coming up towards the end of the year. Hopefully some UCI races, which I hope to take the camera along to.
Please sing along to the same sad song that we used to play on your broken home. Please sing along.
Back on the bikes now. I'm just gonna go and take a little tour of what this beautiful city has to offer. So I'm told this bike path actually floats on this bit of the river and rises and sinks accordingly to the tide, which is interesting. If it has a tide, that is. It must have a tide.
That we used to blame for broken souls.
There's casually a submarine just sat there by the river. You know, just because. Portland. Travelling over the Telecom crossing, which translates to
Bridge of the People.
Bridge of the People, there you go. And it's not spelled telecom like communication telecom.
Telecom.
It's the other one. But this is a beautiful bridge. Wow.
Francis Gate, we're in a lift. We're in a lift.
You sure do know the coolest spots in town, eh?
This is a nice view from up here.
Damn. This is
Mount Hood
awesome.
down below.
There
So
seems to be a lot of development in this area.
yep, it's called South Waterfront. It's all kind of new development and new bike infrastructure. It's trying to, you know, be as European as possible for America.
There's European the look to go for these days.
In Portland, yeah.
Interestingly enough, from this exact point, we're quite high up here. We're not the highest up you can get in the city, but we're quite high. You can see 3 volcanoes from this exact point, and I don't know what they're called, but this guy does.
Mount Hood, Mount Adams in Washington, and Mount St. Helens in Washington.
And apparently, the furthest one, which I've already forgotten, Mount St. Helens, erupted in '81, which would have been pretty scary, I imagine, from this point. Oh, there goes a... There you go, that's my tour of the city done. Just heading back over the bridge now to Washington and Vancouver. What a weird dude. Jason, if you're watching, I'm just joking. Massive shout out for you for giving up your afternoon to show me around town. It was really good fun. I thought I'd share with you my thoughts on Project America now I've had a few days to kind of have to myself and think. I definitely got over the relief of getting out of that situation safely, and genuinely upset that I've missed the last 6 days of riding my bike with my mates up California and into Oregon. At first, that bit of extra time was much welcomed because I hadn't had a single minute to myself in 3 weeks. But as time went on, I kind of realized that, yeah, I definitely wanted to be back out there on my bike, despite the long days of over 8 hours into a 30-mile-an-hour headwind. Despite all that, I definitely would have preferred to have been on my bike with my mates. Finally made it back after getting super lost. I got so lost, in fact, that I took a detour to Safeway, the best supermarket in the world. Next time I'm gonna make a video will be when I'm finally reunited with my bros, Francis and James. They're currently having a rest day in Florence, the lazy bastards. But I will see them, not tomorrow, the next day, and I'll be sure to pick up the camera again then. Yeah, as usual guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.